I feel like one word comes to mind when I think of today's culture, Western world, and at times even myself, right? And you guys probably all think this about yourselves at some point. Being vulnerable is we're all becoming very soft.
Mm.
And I think this is one of the big issues.
I don't even know if it's soft. It's almost
soft,
it's
but
almost like
You
it's
can't tell someone
no, but it's
constructive criticism. You
it's
can't speak about certain. If I say certain thing, I have to. We can't talk about certain things on this podcast.
but it's all but it's almost it's not that we've become soft. It's that everything we do, I don't know what the word to describe it is, but it's like we're being shamed for every single action. So it's not necessarily that people are becoming soft. They just prefer not to be shamed for speaking out, so they don't speak
so
out.
they don't have the spotlight on them.
Yeah, because it's like you can't, tall poppy syndrome, etc. It's like you can't stick your head out, or you're going to get it torn off, especially here. And I think it takes a lot of guts for anyone out there that's either coming on a podcast and being interviewed or doing a podcast to do a podcast, because there's so many. Like, I had someone on my Instagram message me saying, "Oh, I don't mind, but I'm just letting you know. I was surprised that what you said got through editing, because it might land you in hot water, but I don't mind." And it's kind of like, have we changed as humans? It's like we used to kill and spear and beat people with a stick, but now we're fucking doing it with words over the internet. We're still doing it.
Before you
We're
used
not
to.
okay. There's a difference between killing someone, but we're still
Assassinating them characters.
we're assassinating people
Well,
with different weapons
but
these days.
yeah, but you have to ask to do so. This is what I mean. Like back in the day, right? You would just do what you needed to do. Today, it's like, hey, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I give you some constructive criticism? Like, you have to ask to give it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, again,
My question is, why is it happening?
like I think we're changing as humans a little bit. Like, I look at myself, I look at my kids as an example, and they're 12 and 9, and I look at what they can do and what we make them do as parents today in regards to chores around the house and just everyday living, and it's nowhere near what it should be, in my opinion. Right? Like, and everyone is raised differently. That's fine, but I think it's just like there's so many rights now. There's so many. I don't even know how to explain it. There's just so many things that are being put in place now that we can't sit there and have constructive conversations about a topic. Like, again, before we start every podcast, right, is what's on topic, what's off topic. It shouldn't even be a question, right? In my opinion, it shouldn't even be a question. If we've all made the decisions that we've made, we should be able to discuss it amongst the panel, right? But some people are more uncomfortable than others. And again, like you said prior, nothing's off topic, right? So Mr. Cameron's come on here and said, hey, nothing's off topic, whatever you want to talk about. But yeah.
Is it a reaction to social media as well? Like, back in the day, you could have a conversation with your mates, make a crude joke or whatever, and that's where it stayed, in the backyard. Whereas now, everything is happening live to 8 billion people. And is it some sort of reaction to social media and everything being forecast?
I mean, Ross is a perfect example. The guy used to be in Parliament for one of the major parties, and he got ousted. He then was on primetime talk show TV, said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing, got ousted. See you later. Then he falls off the face of the earth. You know what I mean? Like, then all of a sudden, no one knows who you are. Like, how does that make you feel? Where do you see this going moving forward? Because even with the Unemployable podcast, at times the people that we bring on here and the things that we talk about, right, it is not my opinion. It's just constructive, talk in regards to everyone's history and experience. And at times I'm even like, oof, man, I don't know if that's a pretty heavy topic, or that's a pretty, what he said was
So in short, what's fucked it up and what's the solution?
Yeah, well, I think it's a combination of one. If I want to make a partisan political point about quote the left, one of the reasons why I am on the right, okay, is that the right believes in the capacity of the individual to create, as an entrepreneur, for example, to build assets, to participate as an individual. And therefore, the right emphasizes the importance of private property, of free speech, thought, opinion, those things required to create. Whereas I would say the left have realized there is an element of human nature which is attracted to the status of being the victim of an unjust external force of some kind. And so the business
They're usually the more violent. If you go back and look at history, they're the ones that come and mass assassinate
yeah.
civilizations.
Yeah. And so what the left, what say, if you're Penny Wong, Albo, the Greens, whatever, what they are looking around for is the person who is vulnerable to the message that you have suffered a really serious injustice. You have a right to be angry about the way that you have been treated. There is a systemic problem which is causing you to have these various outcomes in your life. The odds are stacked against you, and you need a way to fight back, and that is to vote for the Greens, because we're going to create climate justice for you. Okay. Now, that permanent sharpening of grievance is enervating. Okay, it means it sucks the energy out of the culture. It sucks self-belief out of the individual. And so you've got all these kids, who have go through, and I would say education. It was a massive, massive mistake of the Howard government when Brendan Nelson was the minister. Half of the stupid ideas come from the Liberal Party. And this was one of the stupid ideas from the Liberal Party, was to create a national education curriculum. And so that just meant you could concentrate all of the feminist, Marxist, sort of trans community into one government department and shove it down the throats of the whole nation instead of only one state at a time. And so you get kids who are constantly told to fear the imposition of, inappropriate words or thoughts or behaviour from others, and to, that you're in a permanent state of resistance against this imagined injustice. And I think that's a part of it. Then in Australia, you get legislation, and, you find this completely dodgy, fake, caravan story in Sydney. They find a caravan which has apparently been left there for days, which has got a few unexploded 40-year-old, bombs inside it, and a list of residents of Jewish synagogues. And so therefore we have to have a whole brand new hate speech legislation introduced to the New South Wales Parliament, which is going to very closely regulate what you say. Then you have bills like misinformation, and built on ideas like misinformation and disinformation, which are entirely subjective, and built on the principle of offence. That if you cause offence, you are guilty potentially of a crime. When offence is taken, not given, it's an entirely subjective response to a fact. I basically never take offence, right, as a policy decision. And so I would say, in answer to your question, James, one of the things we have to do is roll back the bureaucracy of the nanny state, presuming to be able to look into the human heart and say, well, that sentence reflects the fact that, Mark had hate in his heart, as if I know what was in your heart. That whole edifice and machine has got to be rolled back. And some will say, well, that's never going to happen. I'd say, well, in Argentina right now, it's happening. Multiple government departments have been completely abolished by Javier Milei, and the Argentine economy is going through a massive bounce back. So we libertarians hope that the libertarian virus of Argentina will become infectious and we'll catch it here in Australia.
And I guess that's the point I was trying to make. It's legal warfare, but it's a kind of warfare for control,
Yeah.
right? And it's like we've replaced the spears with a different type of warfare to maintain control.